crazy to be sitting here and having this shirt on.
Yesterday I felt so bad I couldn't get out of bed all day.
Whenever it is painful, you just got to play through. You can't just quit.
Still be able to play and grow as human.
I am not even 6 months post-surgery.
I don't see how I'm going to keep doing this for much longer, but I'm going to have to try. It's been a bit of a common thing in my career that kind of the worse I feel, the better I play, because it just slows me down so much and you stop worrying about results and shots in front of you, you just kind of do it. And I've been doing it for so long that that's kind of what I need, and it's so hard to do it when you're feeling great, to not start overthinking stuff and just kind of putting your expectations so high that you start like crumbling under your own pressure. So when I'm not feeling good, I just kind of turn all that off, no expectations, I just want to get through the round and feel better. And then suddenly I start playing well. It's very confusing, but I've noticed that throughout my entire career. On top of my back pain last week, I got a cold that started Saturday. When I woke up last week Saturday, I was pretty certain that I was gonna call the tournament and be like, guys, it's just not worth it. I can't play. And shockingly, it hasn't really gone away. Yesterday, I felt so bad I couldn't get out of bed all day, which that hasn't happened to me in so long. Back pain is getting better and better every day, but it's still noticeable, which is just, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about that.
On the broader spectrum, I'm feeling great. I'm absolutely excited. I'm ready to take on the season. On a more micro, my back kind of hurts. The day before I got on the plane, I was reaching in my car to grab something, and I just feel, oh, what is that? It was getting better over the weekend, but I tried playing a practice round and kind of tweaked it again. I think it is just an acute injury, but inopportune time right now, because I feel like I could go throw right now, but it's also like I got to balance it out because we have to acknowledge that Champions Cup's next week. And that was my original return projection because I don't want to miss a major. So I'm definitely thinking about that in regards to this week, but I have some obligations today to do a practice round, so I think I might be able to go play and feel it out and see what it feels like for tomorrow. I am not even 6 months post-surgery, so there's still some healing to take place. Everything should be set pretty good. This year, I'm going to ramp up the forehand as the year goes on. I would say this course, I would maybe throw some forehand approaches. I'm being careful because I want to focus on longevity. I want to feel good for the next 5 years. So easing in rather than going in, sprinting, throwing 500-foot forehands, that's a little too fast for me. But I think with a diligent routine, I feel like I'm going to be able to balance myself out pretty good. But that being said, I don't necessarily even want to throw those massive forehands again, or maybe in seldom use case, just because we're playing such long courses, and there's a streak this year where there's going to be like 6 events in a row.
I've never been someone who loves the life on the road. I did motorhome life for 3 or 4 years at the beginning of my career here in America, and I couldn't handle it. It just wasn't for me. And now with an actual family and 2 kids, I don't see how I'm going to keep doing this for much longer, but I'm going to have to try.
If I feel pain or whatever because of it, I'm going to try and play through it. The MRI basically showed that I've got a couple of bone spurs, moderate to severe arthritis, and avascular necrosis. The slip didn't, cause those things, but brought those things to light. So, if I wouldn't have slipped, maybe I wouldn't know about those things today. Maybe it's a blessing. I can kind of jump on those early. We're just taking it step by step.
I didn't miss a single PT session or anything the entire off season because it's really important to me that I get back and I perform at a high level, especially with the new sponsorship. But life has just a way of giving it to you. Like there's a certain hubris and irony to it all.
I'm going to go out now and try to throw. I haven't thrown since Sunday last week. See how it feels, loosen up a bit, try to learn the course if I can, and maybe this is just my body getting out all the bad stuff before my baby shows up next week. So
part of the intention behind the changes was we're starting down here in the main new park, and then just increasing the challenge and wanting to have a big shot over the pond. So that's hole 10.
We do have a nice new layout. There's going to be some interesting holes out there. I think hole 10 is going to be a nice par 4 over the water. We got a new hole 1, a little bit different tournament central layout.
But also having a finishing stretch that's challenging. There's 2 par 5s in the back 9. So I think that's really going to ask the players a lot.
And then the changes on the course in general, I do think that some of the holes are going to play tough.
So I think I know a couple of the holes that you're talking about. And yeah, you've got to play your game plan. Like I said, whether it's attack it for the birdie or just play it for par. I played the course earlier in the week, got my feelings out, and now I'm playing disc golf.
Tough course, especially when the wind picks up. Again, I feel like there's a lot of forehands here, a lot of powerful forehands. For me, just to sort of like play a safer game, I feel like if you throw backhands, it's a little bit more technical on some of the holes. Just trying to keep it in bounds and yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I think the course is great. I like the new changes of the setup, how everything flows. In previous years, this course set up really well for my game. And now it's just going to be a battle of making it through every hole. Like every 3 holes, I'm going to have a snack or something to make sure that I can finish, because I think by the time Sunday comes, I'm going to be extremely wore out. I'm happy that I'm playing here this week because a lot of these holes require a forehand. I throw a lot of forehand off the tee. If I can just throw a forehand, because backhand, I'm not throwing that far at all. So I'm hoping that the holes I do throw a backhand, I can just clear the OB and then we'll be good.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
They also have a nice change in the tee pads, something that in the past they got rid of the older turf, and so they're now using the X-Step Pro.
The X-Step Pro pad is an official turf of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We went through some development with the manufacturer who's worked with AstroTurf actually on the back end, and we've seen a couple versions, got it to this final, kind of product, which is the X-Step Pro pad. Just a lot of testing, player feedback. There's a lot of different grain lengths, and across the board, players like a smaller grain length where it's a faster tee pad. They won't have as much friction and they can move their feet without like seeing grain, kind of slow that movement down.
From our response that we've had from the players is X-Step Pro is pretty much the best gripping multi-directional tee pad that we have currently in our sport. So we're really trying to work and make that a standard to where they feel comfortable going into every weekend. If it's cement, it's cement. The standard typically is 6x12 for all of our pads. One of the things we're really trying to push forward though is that turf and a standardized teeing surface as we continually progress for the tour.
The one issue is that all tee pads need to be installed correctly. We have protocols and procedures on that. So whether you're using this turf or events can get a waiver if they have another turf that's similar and that we look at and approve. These are all processes that we're continuing to mature, getting ahead on. Even with this turf, if you don't have the proper drainage and the proper substrate and really take your time, it could cause problems if you get water pooling and that kind of stuff. So really happy to work with the company, continue to get player feedback on that type of stuff.
I feel like my solution is that I just turn my brain off. I'm here to play disc golf and execute to the best of my abilities. My job, at least right now, is not to design courses. Yeah, I would do stuff differently here, but at the same time, the more I think about it, the more frustrating it could get. So I'm just trying to do the best I can, and that's it.
I think for those who've been doing it their entire life, starting as like a really young kid, the best thing you can possibly do is shut your brain off, and whatever tricks you can do or methods you can use to make yourself stop thinking about what you're about to do and just do it. I think that's like the ultimate zone you want to be in. And
I'm very confident that a lot of issues that I was having with my previous company, I feel like those aren't going to be the cases because their lineup is so large. They basically have more on each side of the spectrum. They have flippier, more understable discs, but also extremely overstable discs that I feel like is going to benefit my game greatly. So my gut is telling me yes, we are going to see some improvement. The amount of selection that MVP is, I feel like I'm constantly going back in their archives and finding discs I didn't even know existed. And it's been really exciting learning new shot shapes.
I don't practice it that much because I'm tired a lot, but it's helped like just to get on exercise. Like I'll play 9 holes and then I'm mostly done after 9 holes. I get super wore out. With me being with DGA, I'm trying to learn their disc, but my body's different, so I'm not throwing as far. My balance is off, so I'm not really giving them I feel like the true efforts that they need.
Not the best golf of my career, but I feel like I'm playing pretty solid. I could make some improvements without being, nitpicking, saying I could go perfect every round. Yeah, so I could make some improvements, but it's just the more of getting out there and doing it than saying, well, I could have.
I was reminded of when he asked me if something external put the anxiety in me. And I said, basically, that's not possible because nothing can be risen inside of you that doesn't already exist there. So you have the power to regulate what's going on inside you. And it's okay. Sometimes we have like so-called negative emotions come up. Sometimes they're happy and positive. But yeah, I've been feeling some anxiety. I feel like now it's like sort of going away, or I've found a way to resolve it. I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that nobody else is putting stuff inside me. Like it's already there. It's just some things maybe trigger it more. So, but I am the one who has to handle it and has the power to handle it.
I'm also someone who loves family and who loves home base. So leaving gets harder and harder every time. It's kind of heartbreaking to leave my 2-year-old who's now starting to actually understand when I leave what it means, and I don't love it. I have kind of a dream that not too long from now I can take my son with me on trips, and that'll make things a bit easier for me and my family. But he's just over 2 years old right now and just not quite ready yet. Hopefully, I don't really know when kids get ready to do stuff like this. Maybe like when they're 4 or 5. So who knows? Maybe things will get easier again in like 2 or 3 years. I don't know.
It takes a long time to refine that skill. Like even though I have distance on my right side, I have 17 years of fine motor control, and then throwing lefty, when it's all said, probably less than a year of experience. So it still needs a long way to go, but we'll see. I've been playing for 17 years and I've been borderline a disc nerd. Like I can feel a disc. I mean, for pretty much any company tell you what it is. So like I'm very aware of like the parting line, what makes a good disc. So finding what feels comfortable in my hand has been pretty easy because I just generally feel like I know what to look for. I just played around with Bodanza and Cole. It's actually on his channel, and I was throwing the Delirium. I felt like it was going 600 feet, no problem. So it's like there's so much positive, and I think the product is extremely good. And I want to get out and prove myself with it because I think MVP has a lot to offer. Compared to some other like super wide rim drivers, for whatever reason, the MVP stuff feels a lot more comfortable in the hand. I think it is because it's a little bit more on the shallow side, so my fingers wrap around it a little bit more comfortably.
We definitely need to make sure we're continually setting the bar and keeping on the bar, and then always looking ahead to the future to see, what we can continually do, whether it's like one of the conversations this week is, potentially tarping the tee pads. So, Major League Baseball tarps their infields and vice versa. Other sports do certain things. So, what can we look forward to in the next couple of weeks, months, or years, and always continually pushing to the next limit? I would love to find a uniform basket that we could just use every weekend, but who knows? We may just use 18 different baskets. I'm kidding, but I'd love like a basket and a tee combo. That's it. Yeah, basket and tees.
We're standardizing things, but we're also improving. We're in a better position than we've ever been before because we control our own destiny. So we can keep pushing forward with development, whether it's on site or online for viewers, and hopefully reap the benefits as that growth continues.
At least a month of recovery because we have a scheduled C-section happening. So today in 1 week, we're having a baby. Like that is certain. Pretty wild to think about. And I don't want to look further ahead because who knows what's going to happen.